Right, welcome, guys. Hope everybody is well. Hope everybody is well. And so we've kept obviously lives at 8 a.m., but obviously first trade entries are from me are going to be at 8:30. So I'm going to end this about 20 past 8, and then obviously I will finalize everything. So I've sent a macro report this morning as well. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. I'm going to do that every morning. So we are understanding a kind of a basic, level, the kind of general idea of obviously, what is happening and why and what we need to look out for today. Right, news-wise, we're going to go over this first because it's a very busy day. So we've obviously got inflation data for the euro supposed to come in high. I think everyone's inflation is going to come in high. What we're going to have is, something that no one really likes to, speak about. It's called stagflation, and that is when, inflation is rising, but growth is slowing. All right. So it's not obviously an ideal scenario. So, no one obviously likes stagflation. It's a very, unstable. Yeah, it just brings unstable markets. Now, followed on that, we got some PPI data. It's supposed to come in a bit below. Then we've got an interest rate decision for CAD. This is going to kind of set the, standpoint. One thing that I always refer back to during COVID, CAD was kind of leading the race. It was the first economy to recover from COVID, and everyone kind of followed it. So that's obviously why I'm kind of keeping a little eye on it, because yeah, it's a bit of a leader in regards to sorting its inflation out quickest. Now, one thing I might also do, I have been looking into CAD. I might swap out just because it's a bit more volatile at the moment. The reason why I don't normally trade USD CAD, it's very slow. It's more of a consolidating pair. But I might swap out Aussie for CAD, but I'm just playing around with it. I played around with it yesterday afternoon, and I'm going to play around with it again this afternoon. So that might be one swap that's coming, just because of the price of oil is generating a lot of nice movements on CAD. So that might be one thing. I'm not going to do anything drastically. I'm not going to do it today, but obviously it might be that maybe tomorrow we'll swap out Aussie for CAD, and obviously trade that for a little bit while obviously it's got some nice clean volatility, because obviously gold has been all over the place. Aussie is coupled up with gold, so CAD is technically coupled up with oil. So if oil is only going one way, it makes CAD pretty easy to trade. So that might be one thing that we swap out tomorrow, but I'll update you all a bit later on. And then we got the big one. It's the interest rate decision. This 100% is going to stick at 3.75%. It's just going to be what everyone's going to be looking out for is one, the projections, and two, the statement after. We want to know Jerome Powell's tonality. Now, we obviously know, just to give you a bit of a brief, he's always on the reserved, side of things. So that's why him and Donald Trump clash, all right, because they're opposite personalities. I actually, like Jerome Powell. I think he does a good job. But I think, yes, he is going to be very, reserved. He's going to say it's very hard to judge anything. He's going to say, obviously, we got rising inflation, we got, lower employment. So he's not going to do anything, right now. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting speech. I think that's the expectation of it. But obviously he does surprise us from time to time. That's why you can't trade it. I might, if I'm, feeling it, I might put a gold trade out a bit later on, but I'll be doing it as a bit of a, sort of a fun trade. So I might put a gold trade out about 6:30, depending on the volatility. We're going to have to wait and see, obviously, what happens. I've just reading this message here from Alex. EU data is coming out before US data. Will it have a big impact on the dollar, euro before the US news happens? So we don't necessarily today need to worry about the US news coming out. Where are we? We're here. We don't necessarily need to worry about the US data coming out because obviously we're going to be out of everything. All right. Now, what the only thing that might be a bit tricky and that we're going to have to be aware of is the pre moves coming into it. All right, but I don't think they're going to happen until later on this afternoon, and I actually think they've already happened. I think everything's kind of priced in. And I think there's going to be a little bit of volatility a bit later on. But I do think that, yeah, as you can see, dollar's hammered it. So I do think it has been priced in. Right. What I'm going to do slightly differently, obviously, I thought this might be fun for everyone. So before we're placing any trades, I'm drafting them. All right. So this is obviously what I have drafted out this morning. We've got the dollar here. All right, so dollar is, we can now probably call this a downtrend. All right, we can safely call this a downtrend. I am wary of this area here. All right, because 99,500 has held up pretty well. However, we obviously can't write off the fact that there is a downtrend here, and we could be continuing down into this 99, level here, or potentially this gap here, as you can see here. But I do think there's a potential for this to be breached, and I do think a little bit like we saw on gold is I do think this move might happen, even if it doesn't break. This move might happen here. So. One thing that I'm also going to do a little bit differently is if we're in trades and it's in a good position and we don't have any high impact news coming out at lunchtime, then we're going to roll our trades over, but we're going to, manage the positions that we have because we're entering a little bit later on London. So just be aware of that. I'm going to tweak that round, slightly. But obviously, yes, that's what we're going to capitalize on, So, again, I just want to show the timings. I probably would have been looking to, sell the dollar this morning. So if we go to 6:30 in the morning, where we would be looking to enter around here where current obviously price is, so yeah, that's why I've delayed everything because London is just moving in a very, very, very strange way. So a- anyway, right, let's go through what I've drafted up. All right, so I've drafted it out. I'm going to go into a bit more detail, obviously, on the levels and everything. This is what I'd be currently looking at. We've obviously got a nice downtrend here on USDJPY. I don't know why that's so small. Oh, it's because I was on the wrong one. There we go. I can't blame it being early anymore. Right, there we go. So, we've obviously got a nice downtrend. You can see this was the uptrend here. All right, we've now broken trend. So what are we expecting? Right, we're expecting price to come back up into this area and then redirect and potentially come into this area here. Now, what I've also done, and I want everyone to get in a habit of, is highlighted these key, areas here, because obviously this is where we're going to expect a bit of volatility and, potentially a little bit more, yeah, reactions in regards to when price comes back and retests it. Now we've got obviously our area here approaching. Now I'm probably going to tweak all these zones, slightly. So that's obviously the idea of me sending my trades at half past 8 as opposed to half past at 6 because we've almost going to let London show its cards and obviously then we can capitalize on it. So obviously that is USDJPY. My next top one is Euro. All right, similar, expecting this obviously to pump to the upside. Remember, obviously, higher inflation means they're going to keep interest rates higher for longer. So I would like it to come into this area here. You can see here price, and I did a one-to-one last night, and obviously we really highlighted this. Last night in regards to it's always good, and I've stopped doing it because obviously I look at it automatically, but I thought I'd start drawing these levels out again, so obviously you guys can see obviously what is happening and why. You can see here price always rejects previous. You don't want to go back miles and miles and miles. There's no point going back here because you do have to keep price a little bit current. But obviously, this is one that I'm potentially looking at here. I'm looking for that continuation for coming into that we've had yesterday and today. Next one we've got is pound. Again, remember there's a chance. Obviously, I'm going to tweak all of these levels ever so slightly. I might tighten them up a bit because we've still got half an hour. But obviously, again, was looking for a nice bit of movement to the downside before obviously we lead on to the upside. So very similar here. Gold, I do really like where gold is. One thing that I haven't spoken about is yields. This area here was the one that broke yesterday, and This was a reason why I closed out early. It was this candle here, all right, because yeah, it was just screaming out that there is no heavy money flowing into the US dollar right now. So it's gone from a bit of a powerhouse to a bit more of a yeah, scarcity. So obviously that's one thing that we are looking at here. And obviously that's one thing that yeah, we can't hide the fact that yields are trending to the downside, and they're trending to the downside hard. So what's that going to do? That's going to should instill some strength into gold. Like I said, I really like where gold is. I can't see it getting much lower than what it is right now. So yeah, let's wait and see. Obviously, what happens here. But yeah, I am expecting gold to kind of push up to the upside, especially with obviously inflation getting out of control. That's going to put some stability back into gold, which we haven't had. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens there. And then the last but not least, Aussie. Similar thing. Want this to obviously come back into our area. Especially with the strength of gold. It should be a nice little push up on Aussie. Not trying to push it too hard, but I do want to retest these highs, which I think that we can do. So that's pretty much how I'm laying everything out so far. And then we'll obviously wait and see. I'll probably tweak the zones ever so slightly. But yeah, I just want to obviously watch price for the next like 15 minutes. So, this is obviously how we're going to be leading into things moving forward. My main thing today, all right? So after two losing days, all right, my main thing is to oh, what's going on here? My main thing here is to make sure that we finish green. All right. So today I don't care what it is. I just want to be green, and that is all. So yeah, let's wait and see. What happens here. I haven't had three losing days on the trot for a very long time. So yeah, hopefully we're going to hop off this train, losing train, and then yeah, we can obviously make sure that we capitalize on everything. So, does anyone have any questions here? Any questions? Any questions at all? Happy to answer. But obviously, hopefully, what I'm going to try and do is paint you the full picture. In regards to you're going to get a macro report in the morning. We're going to pre-talk about what, so you guys have got a good idea about what we're going to be doing. And then, we'll capitalize on it during London, which would be at 8:30. And so, yeah. Um, all right, cool. Well, if there's no questions, we'll obviously end it here. Have a great day, everyone. Look, let's smash it. I'm confident. Like we've had our 2 bad days, so we're gonna get right back on it and smash it. And so, yeah, have a great, great, great day. And yeah, let's smash it. Have a good one, team.